guys, we are here living the authentic life. One of my dearest, closest friends I've known the longest in the Houston fashion industry. We met because of a shared love of handbags. Our sales associate at Neiman's years ago introduced us, and then we went through being moms together. We realized we loved our family so much and we were super close. I met your family multiple times, your brother, I know him. We celebrated birthdays together with our girls. It's really been an incredible journey. And what I love about you, Katherine, is you're never defined by one thing. You are a woman that does so many things for so many people. And I'm just so excited to share your story today.
Oh, thank you, Danae. You know what? Sometimes in life, they say they meet someone for a season, for a reason. And I definitely know why I met you. It was that connection. And she knew that day, she was like, you know what? I know this great girlfriend and I think you need to meet her. And I'm like, who is this? Because I usually don't meet people like that. You know, I have to see them. I've got to check them out. And my next lifetime, or when I retire, I'm going to have a little, like bulb, and knowing that I'm a fortune teller because I can read people very well. And I said, okay, why not? And she goes, no, you guys are a perfect match. And then as I got to know you, it's like, our friendship has just evolved. It's been 20 years or so.
It has been 20 years.
Yeah, because our daughters are now, about to go off to college and stuff. So yeah. It's
incredible.
Been a journey, and you're so true to yourself. I love that about you. You say what you're going to do, and you're just going to stick with it. And you're just an entrepreneur. You're a great mom. You're just, I don't know. You do all of these things, and here you are asking me. Yes, I hustle every day. I tell you, I wasn't born with something stamped on me as a profession, like a doctor or an attorney or whatever, but I just love life, to be honest with you. And in my past life, I was in financial services for many, many years. And that was just, to make money. My heart and soul was not into that. My heart and soul has always been in fashion. I
But you knew from your heritage that you wanted to be financially sound.
Yes. It's always like that. My mom is very stern about, you've got to be successful. You've got to work hard. I hate to say this.
Family work ethic passed on to you.
And don't ever depend on a man. That's what she always says. You just go out there and you create your own venture, whatever it be. Not that you're an attorney or a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, but you create that foundation for you. And that's what I did. We got into financial services and mortgages for many, many years. And I worked with my husband
Which is such a joy, isn't it?
On certain days, like they say, it rains one day and it sunshines the other day. There you go.
Sometimes they think they know more than us. Isn't that
really
crazy?
But I think all men think they know a little bit more than women in general today, to be honest with you.
My favorite thing, and I went to Brown Top yesterday with my girlfriend Beth. I said, and Rob never watches these podcasts, so I can tell the real truth. What I do is I make Rob think it's his idea, but yet Danette and I have come up with it. And then we make him think it's his idea, and then he tells the story that he created it. See? So that's how we get what we want in business, is we let him think it's his idea.
See, women are really intelligent. They just let men think that they're intelligent. I love that. And then men, they think, they pat themselves on the back and like,
your husband is a strong man.
Oh my God. He thinks he's just like a born genius. Well, if you ask my daughter, now we've got two gaining up on one, which is a lot better. But they always think that all men think they're smarter than women. But that's okay. We let them believe that. And, and the world just evolves and it just goes around and, it's like I used to think the world's flat, but now, everything just evolves. But,
it does. It is not ever a destination. It is not ever a stopping place. And you've had a lot of challenges to overcome. I mean, you were an immigrant. You and your parents left a place that was your home to go to a new country. I mean, that in itself is huge. When I think about my grandparents immigrating from Italy on a cattle boat and having no money and not knowing the language.
And not speaking the language, doesn't know what's going on. What a challenge,
what strength it took to do that.
You know, it's so funny because people have always asked me about my story and my journey. And in my culture, you know, women really didn't
You're
work.
Vietnamese.
I'm Vietnamese. You know, back in the old days, it was, you know, the men provided and blah, blah, blah. My mother is, on another hand, she's a very strong woman, but we came here as refugees. We immigrated here because the war broke out, and we came in 1975. As soon as they broke out, we were able to migrate to the U.S. And even right now, when I'm traveling to another country on vacation, you know, at my leisure, and I feel like when I can't speak the language, I get so agitated. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I can't even imagine how my parents did it when they came here, not knowing how to read, not knowing how to communicate, and went to work and did like double shifts just to raise us. It's an amazing, amazing journey. But you know, here's the left side. Most people don't know. My dad was a very high-ranking official in Vietnam. Our family was like very high to do. Then they came here and they were working at a Chinese restaurant. You know, I was 6 years old when I migrated, and I just couldn't believe, like, what kind of life is this? You know, they were like, be thankful we're in the United States. Be grateful. Yes. And I'm like, how can I be grateful when my parents didn't take me on vacation?
We had staff, we had people helping us, and now we're serving people.
Yes. And we're not going on vacation. I mean, I couldn't even go to, I grew up on the East Coast, and we couldn't even go to the park, you know, because they had to work. You know, my summers were walking around the mall so we can get cool air conditioning, you know, so we didn't have to turn the air conditioner at home. It was just that I knew that I had to work. And I had to be good at whatever that I had to do to survive.
Yes.
And it's so funny. And I love fashion. And I said, you know what? I hate to say this, but, you know, it takes money to make money. You know, if you like fashion, you got to work hard. How are you going to afford all this stuff? But that was just it. I just wanted the freedom. I wanted to make sure that my family was provided
because it's not about the money.
Yes.
It's about the freedom.
Yes. I have money. Not only can I spend on my family, but I'm able to take care and help others with it.
Yes.
That's the freedom, you know, like if someone in my country, and we sponsor people. I put them through college in Vietnam. We've done so many things outside of the scope that, you know, they think that, you know, you got to give to charity. You got to give,
it's not buying a table at an event.
Yes.
It's not having your name in lights.
Yes.
It is truly changing the course of someone's life.
Yes.
Not that buying a table isn't valuable.
Right.
We need people
we
to
help,
do that.
We help everywhere we can.
Yes.
But, you know, everybody has their own way of giving back.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that, you know, if I had the freedom to do it, I would do it in a heartbeat. And that's why I worked so hard. You know, I got out of the financial business and we sold our mortgage company, but my love has always been in jewelry.
Mm-hmm. And you can see it everywhere you go, girl. I remember going to New York with you to Fashion Week. And first of all, my favorite thing about going to Fashion Week is most women during Fashion Week don't eat, but we ate the best food. People like on that show on The Devil Wears Prada where she's like, I'm not eating for weeks. What?
And people are always like, oh, you know, I was so busy today. I forgot to eat lunch. I'm like, you skipped a meal? I'm like, how can you skip a meal? Does your body, your brain not remind you? I mean, I don't get that. I was born on this earth to eat, not eat to live. You know, I just want to make sure I get that out there. And yeah, that's why I work so hard, so I can eat good food too.
I was like, are you going to wear, and it was cold, and are you going to wear a fur coat? Are people going to throw paint on us?
No, we were so worried that we were going to get egged, right? We're like, oh my God.
It was probably safer to go to New York then than it is now.
Yes.
Because I'm a little worried about wearing all my jewelry in New York.
Yes.
Whereas it used to be that,
Yes, things have changed.
Okay, but how did you started making your own pieces and how did it evolve?
Yes, I just had pieces made for me to wear.
Uh-huh.
And my friends and, you know, just strangers would come up to me and say, oh, I love that. Where did you get it? I go, where did I get it? I had it made. This is for me. This is custom made. So that's how I introduced myself into the jewelry business.
And let's talk about the Kay Lee.
The Kay Lee. Well, you know, this is so cute. You know, my daughter is Ava. I'm Katherine. So, of course, you know, we get the K and the A. And this I love that hand. I'm not Greek, but I wish I was. This is like that evil hand, evil eye. They're like, keep all the bad spirits away from mommy and daughter, you know? And I wear this like all the time. I know it's got bling on it, but you know.
I love bling. I mean, mine is blingy, but it's much smaller bling that says Contessa. And people are still like, what is that? I'm like, oh, I named myself Contessa. And you can be anything you want to be. And that's what I love. You feel the same way.
Yes.
You can be who you want to be.
And that's why I tell people, you know, what can I bling to your life? It could be a small bling. It could be
that
a big
has to
bling.
be in the caption. What can I bling to your life?
What can I bling to your life? You know, I know the husbands don't like me very much, but that's okay. You know, as long as I make the other women happy, I'm good. You know,
like you know, Rob wants to sell all these beautiful things to everyone else, but then when I want to buy it, but I think they want us to shine. I think they shine when we shine. And so I do think when Hal sees you dressed in all of your bling and all your fabulousness, he might roll an eye, but he really loves that you're his wife and that you shine so brightly.
We need to train our men to think this way, Danae. Okay? And I'm going to say this.
Yep, Rob's not listening.
I know.
So
and he says he doesn't even watch any of these podcasts, so that's good. But we need to train him to get a mindset thinking that, you know, people see how successful you are through your wives.
Yeah.
And it's the truth. You know,
and
how the white
we wear,
yes.
people, and I think, so my favorite quote that I recently came across was by a man named Howard Thurman. He said, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive. Because what the world needs is more people who come alive. And I feel that you can be interested in someone who's passionate about something that you have no interest in,
right,
but you're drawn to the passion and the excitement and the light that comes from them.
Yes.
And there's physical light coming from you, girl. But it is about that confidence that we put on and the stories it tells, like the pieces that you create. I love, like, even the name.
Yes.
Ava Lee, like,
yes,
Ava. And we wanted our daughters for so long. So many people had kids, and I would have loved a son, but I wanted Bella for so long.
I prayed.
Yep. I begged. I tried to barter with God. He doesn't barter. I'm like, whatever. If you do this, I'll do this.
Right. And you know, and I would have been so blessed with a son. But I'm sure if I had a son, I would have turned him gay. I would have dressed him up. I would have done all. And Ava asked me that all the time. I said, I'm surely 99.9% he would have been gay.
But what I love is, in addition to our girls, like, loving fashion, and when Bella's with her friends, she likes to dress like her friends.
Yes.
But when we travel, she dresses like she's my daughter.
Yes.
But they also are really strong, independent women, which is great. But you're like, oh, I taught you to be strong and independent, but not with me.
Not with me. You can do that outside of the house, you know? Yes. Yeah. And it's so funny. And I, you know, when they were little, we always says, oh, our princesses, you know, we refer to them as my princess. But then I went home and I shut the door and I said, that's only for other people. I tell you that. But when you walked in this house, the queen is here.
Exactly.
And I remind her that every day. I'm like, princess, the queen takes over. Okay. Yes. We just say that. So people just, oh my God, I know. But our girls are good. Like Bella. I mean, what I love about her is she's so down to earth, giving the spectacular lifestyle that you guys have. And I always tell Ava, and I said, look at that. And now, you know, she's got accepted to UT and this honor society. And I praised that when I saw that. And I said, Ava, look at this. You can have everything you want in this world. You know, you can, you know, you good that you don't have to work like mommy at 14. So, you know, make something out of it. And your mom deserves a very, very successful daughter. So that's your way of paying back.
Oh, I love that.
And I tell her that every day. So we'll see what happens though. we can only do our best.
But
you know,
you
we can only do
see
our
it about
best.
what she's committed with. I mean, when they're young, they find their passion, and hers is dance and gymnastics, and she's been so committed and so successful. And wow, my legs never went up and as far as her jumps and all this stuff.
I might have picked up the wrong child at the hospital because I'm like, I don't move like that. And surely her husband doesn't move like that. You know, sometimes, it's like God's blessing sometimes, you know.
It is.
You know, and I'm sure your daughter's got more talent than you could ever even imagine.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Goodness, she sneezes like a little
like a
rabbit.
lady.
I know.
And here we are.
Oh, girl, it's so bad. Okay, so let's talk about you. The jewelry is absolutely exceptional, but another thing that we bonded over is aging and how we age gracefully. And not that we're opposed to going under the knife, but we're doing things to kind of
preventative, I
push
think. Yes,
things to
gracefully
look our best
Yes.
without changing how we look.
Yes.
And you've really given me a lot of insight throughout the years because you travel so many places and you've experienced so many different things. And one of the things you taught me the most was about hydration and about light reflecting from your skin. And maybe you can talk a little bit about that. I think I even said that to someone else. The first time I got Botox, the doctor who did it charged me way too much money. But and I didn't go back to him. Now I go to Yalom and Chile at Balaj. But he said, he did one side of my face and he showed me, and he said, the reason this side looks better is because we've filled in the places that have cavities and your face reflects light now.
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
I noticed that because of your commitments to your skincare for so long, and I think also culturally, your Vietnamese skin is beautiful skin. I feel like I age beautifully because my mom had great skin.
Yeah.
But tell us some of the things that you think have helped in the process.
You know, it's so funny. I've always had bad skin, believe it or not. I had to work.
I did not know that about you.
I had to work like triple to get to where it needs to be. Like I had to double wash my face every night. I had to take the extra stuff of extra moisturizing it. It's not like, you know, some people just wake up with great skin and they were born with great skin. I've always had adult acne, believe it or not. And, but I was invested and committed to getting good skin, but I didn't want to pay like $1 million, like most people out there.
Yeah,
but I've always
the counters at the store
and I've tried everything. If you tell me, hey, this looks great, see, those things are so commercialized, so overpriced.
Okay.
That has never worked for me. I've tried that. I've tried a lot of stuff at the counters at the department stores. And what amazes me, because I stumble upon something that I'm going to share with you, and I did share with you about a year ago, this Korean skincare. And the Koreans, they do things differently from the Westerners.
Okay.
They are more looking for preventative than instead of like wait until that happens and then we're just going to go in there and just combat that. You know, like in the Western culture, if I had a wrinkle or I get a pimple, I go to the dermatologist. He would give me Retin-A, he would give me a cortisone shot, you know, just to take care of the situation. Well, Asians, we think of more preventative ways. I even, you know, would cook rice so I can eat it, so I can take the rice water and wash my face at one point.
Wow.
Yes, because they would brighten it. You know, the brightening, you're talking about light reflection. Everybody wants that. Everybody, you know, every woman is dying for that. So I stumbled on this Korean skincare about 18 months ago that I share with you. It's 8 steps. I know maybe most people are like, I can barely wash my face and moisturize. But today I'm proud of you because I can see that light, the reflection of it. But you've got
But I need more and I need to replenish because I get lazy. And then I just do 3 and then I don't. So,
I'll tell you a little secret.
Okay, tell me.
Talk about the laziness.
And the sprays are different.
Yes.
I thought, well, if I do one spray, isn't that the same?
No, it's got, you know, it takes you from one step because it nourishes the next step and then the next step. And that's why you see their skin, it is like an ice skating rink.
Yes.
It's incredible how they really, and their industry of beauty is like we're talking like trillions of dollars. We're not talking about, you know, yeah, let's just do this. They have invested fully in their skincare, and it shows. And you've got to believe that. You've got to believe that. I did, and the company that I ran across that I introduced to you, it's a plant-based.
Okay, yes, because all the additives in the U.S. are so
bad for it. It's so good. It's a leaf that's called Centella asiatica, and the tigers in the old days would use it as a healing ointment. If you got a rash, you did whatever. So it's very. And
wait, the tigers?
The tigers, like the animal tigers. Yes, it's.
They would go up to trees and.
Yes, if they had a wound or something, you put it on there, it would heal.
I love that.
And the Vietnamese culture, we ingest that plant. You know how we ingest it? It's almost like wheatgrass. We spin it out, we put some water, we drain it, we drink it to do what? To detox our gallbladder, to detox our liver. So now that you're using that plant and they put it in the products, your skin is getting all the detoxification and wonderful healing absorption. So I'm telling you, you can tell in my skin. Most people ask me, what did you do?
Yes. What's your most recent treatment?
Exactly. So like I tell you, I hustle every day. So if there's something that's great out there, I will get involved. And I will know that if it's going to change someone's life, make it better, or something that's good for them, I'm all in.
And what I love is when I met you, you were one of the Hermes Birkins weren't seen out with a lot of people. Now more people are wearing them. And that was like your bag, a Birkin, a Kelly. And then as time evolved, you would even add different brands into it, and you would even change. And you weren't just defined by what everyone else was doing.
Yes.
And I love that about you.
Yes.
I love that you also like to be comfortable, and you were always dressed to the nines, but comfort's a part of the journey.
You're so kind. But
that
you.
is,
yes.
You still think about it, but that is, I'm a dress girl.
Yes.
You can wear shorts. You have great legs. I'm not so fond of mine.
I love Danae. That $20 I gave her this morning went really well. I told her, you need to compliment me here. I'm about to use it all up right now.
Seriously.
Thank you.
And we just interviewed Brittany Rose Wetterer, who used to be with Louis Vuitton and with Saks, and now she's on her own styling. And I was getting ready to get rid of all the shorts in my closet. And she's like, put those on. Let's look at them. And I'm like, oh, I just see the things I don't want to see. My eyes go to that. And she's like, other people's eyes aren't going there.
Right.
But I think that, and I feel like even when you were younger, you were wearing things that were like structured jackets or layered coats that were maybe like a little mama before it was mama, but you made it cool.
You're so kind. Because my daughter, she goes, why can't you be more like Auntie Danae? She's like a princess every day and the beautiful dresses. And you're like a man's man, I go, because I wear the pants in the family. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. But
whereas Bella's like, why aren't you wearing what all the other moms are wearing? Middle school? Oh, she was mortified every time I showed up.
But you're so glamorous.
Look so
and
different.
Ava loves that.
It's
you see?
Funny. Yeah.
You
they
see how
they don't know.
Exactly.
They do.
Exactly.
So how do you figure out what to add? Because you also you're not only, you buy luxury, but you also add other things in. Like, I'll wear a Zara jacket over a beautiful Oscar dress.
And I do that every day. I mix and match. And I think that, luxury is luxury. You just got to love your style. Mm-hmm. And everybody's got to have their style. I don't want to be somebody else. And I don't want to go out there and say, oh, because I can afford these brands, I'm going to wear all these logos all over the place. Mm-hmm. And nowadays they always differentiate between old money versus new money and stuff like that. You know what? It's great you've got money, but it's great that you've got to appreciate style. And people don't always have style. Mm-hmm. And they're always trying to add too much. Like, I have money, I can afford this. I'm going to wear, all the stuff on there. And I tried to keep it, like you said, very casual because I'm very casual.
But yet you're wearing your beautiful pieces you could wear to a black tie gala with something casual.
Yes.
And you rock it. Whereas other people are like, oh, I could never wear diamonds during the day.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, come on, girl. If you want to wear diamonds during the day,
but that's my business. I have to hustle. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, that's why you have to develop your own style. I think that's so
let's talk about that. So when you're traveling, do you pick up something? I know you guys go to Hawaii a lot. You spend time in Europe. You go to the Bahamas. Like, are there different styles? Do you always have?
Absolutely.
So tell a little bit about that. Like for me, I'm always bringing Irma's wrap, scarf for the plane. I always bring a blazer. Sometimes I've even forgot to bring tennis shoes. So tell us about, and now I'm getting better about that.
It depends on the region, where you're going, what place. I try to dress appropriately according to whatever area that I'm going to.
Right. Because it is different.
Yes, it is different. I try to blend in with
Miami's
the culture.
Different than New York.
Yes, I do a lot of brighter colors, than I would in New York. Versus, going to Hawaii or the Bahamas or whatever. But I think that you just have to love the style and the fashion that you're in versus just buying Hermes because buying Hermes, like you said. Like I love it because that's my style. And if Bottega has that bag, if you have the love for fashion that fits your style, then you need to carry it and evolve around that. Some people buy it and some people wear things just so that, this is fashionable and I need to put this on and I need to look fashionable like that. Yeah. But then it comes across like, you're not wearing the thing. The thing is just wearing you.
Okay, let's talk about pre-owned luxury in the Asian culture because some people believe that it carries the spirits of the people. Yes. So I have a lot of, and you completely invited me into your friend group. I was like the token Caucasian with all of the crazy rich Asians, and I loved it. And we took so many pictures, and we wore bright colors. Like it was, but some of those women weren't snotty. They just believed there were spirit. So talk a little bit about, have you heard that?
Oh my God. The Asian culture, it just lingers through everything that you do. That's why I said, I'm going to become a madam and I'm going to tell, my crystal ball, I'm going to tell these people what's good and what's not good. But they think that like diamonds and jewelry too, whoever previously owned it, there's always an American saying that wear it in good health. Remember? Like if you wear a diamond. And I never understood that, but now I understand why. Most people with a diamond or anything, it's a spiritual value. Like a diamond's a big deal. You buy a diamond when you get married. Because people don't walk around with diamonds every day. It's a special piece. So in the Asian culture, if it was resale or even used clothing, it has to come from a very healthy person or else they feel like the spirit has transferred to you. Either it's through good fortune or with health-wise or anything like that.
Interesting.
So Asians are very particular about previously owned, and they're not so hot about vintage pieces because they think that it's been there, it has its days, and they don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
I know, it's a hard market. But things are evolving now. But I don't think it's as bad as it was a couple of years ago.
I feel like things are loosening up. Yes. I think The Real did a great job of making it mainstay. I certainly buy clothes from there. I feel like it's better to work with us to sell your pieces because we pay you for them then and you get to see them in person. Right. We guarantee the authenticity. But I think that it made it mainstream, and it also culturally, I remember like the first time we did a River Oak Country Club show like 15 years ago, some older women would walk up and go, are these used things?
I know. It's like, oh my God. But nowadays it's so hard to get a Covenant bag. So why not go to Danae and get a bag? It makes no sense. White Wave for 3 years.
Like artwork had a life before.
Yes.
And a car that's a
Exactly.
vintage car.
They would buy used cars day and night.
Or you move in a home.
Yes, it's not freshly built. So things are evolving. Like, hey, if I can't get it back at Hermes, why can't I go to the vintage Contessa and get a Birkin? It's so hard to come by. So things are evolving. They're not so much, what do I call it? There's a stigma, about, old pieces, old versus new or something like that. Yeah.
And then another thing that I think is cultural, that it so impresses me with the Asian culture, is the commitment to buying pieces that have value. So Americans think of it as, oh, they're so flashy with their logos. But what I really have understood is that it's about buying something that has a value if you need to sell at another time, has something, and it's not just disposable.
Yes.
And I think that was part of when so many people left countries, they were taking their jewelry with them. They were taking the possessions they could physically carry that had value.
You see, in the Asian culture, it's always value versus just for fun, because like right now, let's look at the gold market. Gold is $3,000 an ounce. You would never imagine that.
It was $1,000.
Yeah.
So literally, if you bought 4 years ago a necklace that was $200, wouldn't it be like $400 now, or maybe even $500?
Yes.
It's crazy. Like just a little necklace.
Yeah. But we've always, because of our culture.
You don't buy it as an investment, but you knew that it had value.
Yes. Going back to 1975, when the war broke out, gold was everything. That's how you travel. Yes. You hand them an ounce of gold, and that was your ticket. There's a boat. That was the charter. That was how things evolved.
That's how you paid. It wasn't in money.
And my mom's always told me that you've got to have gold as your asset. Yes. But growing up in America, I diversify. You have to have a little bit of this.
Property,
you have a little bit of this. You got to do this. Yes, to keep your portfolio, balanced. But with the Asian, you're right. It is always thinking for tomorrow, because you saw how quickly
what you believed was
it's gone just like that.
Overnight. And when you experience that, there's no
way of turning back. You can't.
And I think, and that's what I explain to people, I think they just see the beauty of our business. But I say every day we're selling people that are buying assets and reaping the benefits of their hard work. And we're buying from people who are in a challenging place.
Yes.
But the glorious part of our business is we've helped so many women going through divorces that needed money, and they've sold their bags and they've sold their jewelry, and then they can come back afterwards when they get cash.
Right.
Because sometimes it's just a matter of cash.
Right.
You have assets, but you don't have something that's liquid.
That's what I say. The liquidity of it is everything.
You can't sell real estate like that.
Right.
But you could sell a bag. You could sell a piece of
gold.
jewelry.
And that's why we hold on to the gold. It's liquidable. I was just going to share that with you because nothing else matters. It's liquid. If you needed this, you can go to a jewelry store. Here's 1 ounce, $3,000. And you'd have cash in your hand within like 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Versus, I got to sell this house. It's going to be in the listing for 6 months or a year. Who knows? So they believe
stock
in
that you have no control over the value of.
Yep.
So it's I've learned a lot from and I know it's not good to stereotype, but there is something about the work ethic. And not all immigrants have the work ethic of a Vietnamese immigrant. I mean, we, when I worked in the marble and granite business for 22 years, the Vietnamese for some reason, there were Vietnamese tile setters. There were guys from Mexico that worked in the plant that did the slab work. Mm-hmm. There were drug white men that set the slabs. Like it was just oddly segments. The tile setters would literally work 20 hours.
Oh, yeah.
They would work weekends.
Yeah.
They would literally sleep 4 hours a day. As a culture, the work ethic is different.
It is, because you know why? Our lives are so harsh right now, like in Vietnam, there's not a check and balance system. either you've got a super rich or you've got the super, super poor. Okay. And it's a matter of survival. So it's embedded in your head right now that, you've got to work the extra hour just to survive and make it.
Yeah.
And that's
these
it.
house owners were driving Jaguars and they were living in incredible houses.
But they don't care. But they will work.
They were working on their knees, bent over at night with lights and no air conditioning in the summer doing the work.
Yes. Just so they can, make ends meet, and they know that if they have something, they're going to finish it. I mean, I go to Hong Kong. Hal gets these custom-made suits. We walk in, we pick out the fabric. By that evening, they would have it delivered to our hotel, custom-made. Can you imagine that in Italy? It would never happen. They take 2-hour breaks. They've got, they'll go out, they'll have a glass of wine.
Italy, but that work ethic, no wonder
the 2-hour naps
are bankrupt. The closing for August.
Yeah. The whole month. And then every day is a 2-hour nap. I don't know. Maybe I should go there. No, I'm just joking.
I know. It's brilliant, and it's a beautiful La Dolce Vita. It's beautiful, but it's also a problem for their countries but it is sad that Vietnam is not a rich country either because of government. So we won't get into that.
Right.
But, well, tell us what is next on your agenda. What should we be looking for? Because you are going to be an empty nester in a few years, and you're going to be, girl, it's coming. It's coming for me in a few months.
You know what? I thought about that, and I always think about it. And I've had talks with her. I said, Ava, let's talk about this. When you go away, I am going to move in with you. She's like, not. I said, okay, maybe down the street. I mean, we're bargaining at this point, okay? And I go down the street, and she thought about it.
Asian culture does.
Yes, and then she goes,
is there?
She goes, well, Mom, maybe not down the street, maybe a couple streets over. I mean, we're at a bargaining tool now here, Danae. And the sad thing is, I go, don't you love your family? She goes, I do. You do everything for me, Mom, but I'm out of here. I go, are you kidding me? They talk like I make her wash the dishes every day or something, I
know.
But I think, with you and I, we only have one child. And we want to hold on to it as much as we can. But, Danae, I always think this. You got to let them evolve. You've got to let them spread their wings.
Yes.
And we just freaking go home and freaking just pray every night.
Yes.
That's all I can say.
I know.
That's all I can say. I know when her burger's not green, I panic. I mean, just everything. We only have one. We only have one. Like the other day, she sneezed, and I'm like, could this be COVID? Could this be like the flu? She's, Mom, it's allergies. Take it, tone it down.
I love it.
But it's okay. It's all right. And that's what I do. I just pray a lot nowadays. That's all. That's all I can do.
Well, you are answered prayers. You have been such a dear, true friend to me for so long.
And you too.
A moment, what I love is a moment passes and nothing's.
And we can just sit down and catch up just like this.
Exactly.
And just like yesterday. And that's what I love. I tell Ava, I said, now you have a lot of friends. Then you grow up, you got 10 fingers, you get 10 friends. By the time you're my age, you have about this many friends on just one palm of your hand. Treasure it. The older you get, it's the true friendship that will come out. And the true friendship is when you're in need, when you're in trouble, when life's not going your way. It's not when you're so glamorous and, you're up there and you're cha-cha-cha and you're cheering. And she's like, that's it? Just Fry? I'm like, the older you get, you got to appreciate who.
Exactly.
And through the years, you'll know who your friends are.
Yes. Amen to that.
Well,
thank you for sharing your story.
Well,
I think people look at you and see you as just polished and beautiful and everything. It's came to you, but you worked for everything you have.
My goodness.
You are focused on it. You're committed to it. You support the people you love. You support your community, and we appreciate you.
I thank you for having me on here.
All right,
Thank you.
We will continue living the authentic life. You can check her out on Instagram.
Yes, at Mommy Cam, MMIEKAM. I know I'm a little bit slow, but I'll get there.
We love you. Okay,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you for having
Until
me.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.